This is the basic rook checkmate. To checkmate the black king, we need to box the king in, and we're going to drive the king to one of the edges of the board. So right now the rook, you can see it controls these two lines, and so anywhere that's not on those two lines, the king can move. And so we're actually doing a really bad job right now. The king can move to lots of squares on the board, and we want to shrink that box so that the king cannot move to many squares. So the first thing we can do is we can move the rook over here, and now you can see that there's this line that the king can't ever cross, and so now the box is smaller. Okay, so the black king needs to move now, so the king can move here. And the next thing we're going to do is get our king, and we need both our king and our rook to give checkmate. You can't checkmate with just a rook. Okay, so the king enters in, the black king will just move back and forth. Okay, so we're going to continue to move our king toward the black king. Okay. Now we have a position where we can actually continue to cut off the king. So again, this is the line that the rook controls. But if we move the rook here, now we have this line, and the king, as long as the rook stays there, the king can never move outside this box. And so we're going to make that box smaller and smaller until we can get checkmate. So the king moves. So we ask ourselves, can we shrink the box? The answer is yes, we can shrink the box. Now it's just a little bit smaller, and the king has fewer squares to go to. So the king moves again. Can we shrink the box? Well, yes, we can, but there's a problem. We lose our rook. So we don't want to do that. So we can't shrink the box without losing our rook. So we move our king. So the king moves. Okay, the king moves back. Can we shrink the box now? No, if you look, the king is at the very edge of the box. So we can't shrink it. What do? We move our king. So the black king will move again. What do? Can we shrink the box now? Sure, we can shrink the box. And if the king continues to go back, we can continue to shrink the box. Okay, let's say that black doesn't go back. He goes back this way. Can we shrink the box now? Well, again, if we move here, we're just going to lose our rook. So we can't do that. All right, what do? Yep, we want to move our king toward the king. And you just follow the king. You want to keep the king and the rook close and follow the black king. Okay, so what if the king continues to move back? Well, we continue to follow with our king. Okay, let's say the king goes back like this. What can we do? Well, I'll show you two things. You can continue to shrink the box. What's the way to shrink the box? Well, this square shrinks the box, right? Okay, so now we have the box that goes from here to here, and checkmate is not too far away. There is a shortcut that I'll show you. Okay, so if you don't want to go here, we can play this move, and it's a little bit of a shortcut. Okay, so now if the king moves here, well, now we will move here, and we have something that we just looked at, right? Okay, or if the king moves here, we have a little bit of a tricky move here. And actually, if you look here, the king only has one move. The king can't move to here or here, right, or here. So the king actually has to move over here. And so our pieces are already in good spots. So we just want to waste a move. So we can make a move like this. And then the king has to move here, and then we give checkmate. So it's a little bit of a shortcut. But you have to remember this if you want to do it that way. If you want to go here, it'll take a little bit longer, but that's okay. It follows the pattern that we've said already. Shrink the box. Okay, but we have something else to consider if we do this. Now, we can't shrink the box, and we can't make our king into a better position. We can't put our king into a better position. So what do? Well, don't be afraid just to waste a move. So we just move back with our king, and we're going to continue with shrinking the box. So again, if the king moves back, we shrink the box, just like this. The king moves back again. What do? We follow with our king, and we follow with our king. And if the king moves back, we follow with our king, and we're almost there. Okay, king's all the way back. Okay, what do we do now? Well, can we shrink the box? Sure, we can shrink the box. So let's go ahead and do that. King moves back. Can we improve the positions of our pieces? Well, the king's at the edge of the box, so he can't shrink it. The king's on a good square, so we have to just have to waste a move. Back with the king. The king goes here. What do we do now? Well, shrink the box. We continue, continue, continue. Okay, now here, do we want to go here, shrink the box? This is a bad idea. You've shrunk it all the way down to one square, and we don't have checkmate here. We have stalemate, which is a draw. So we don't want to do that. So whenever we get the king down, we need to make sure that we give checkmate instead. And this move is checkmate. Let's look about if it went a little bit differently. Let's move back a little bit. Let's go here, and we'll see what happens if we get into a slightly different position. So let's go here, here, and we shrink the box, and we keep going. Okay, keep going. Okay, keep going. Okay, now we get to this square. Okay, well, we need to give checkmate. Our king's on the right square. Our rook's more or less on the right square. So what do we do now? Well, here we can just waste a move. You can move anywhere on this file. Well, not to the last square here. That would just be giving our rook, but anywhere else we can move. It just wastes a move, and then we're ready to give checkmate on the very last move. So let's just move back here, and the king goes in the corner, and the rook is checkmate. Okay, that's the basic rook checkmate. Practice this until you can do it very quickly.